Greetings, and goblins, and I'm white and nerdy, and today we're gonna go trick-or-treating and grab out some candy. But not just any type of candy, mind you, as I'm gonna take a look at a cult classic film that a lot of people have enjoyed, and which I, yes, have enjoyed the remake, or I guess you could say remake in quotations, because it doesn't really feel more like a remake than more of like a successor sequel, but I'll get into that later. And I'll also pin in the comments where you can find that old video. But I'm going to be talking about the 1992 classic Tony Todd original film, which had basically become a cult phenomenon for horror and Halloween fans alike and made a name for basically Tony Todd. And this is my review of the 1992 Candyman. So this is my review upon the 1992 cult classic film Candyman, and just to let people know this right ahead of time, spoilers, just to be forewarned, spoilers might be ahead. So if you haven't seen the original Candyman yet, you should, and just to be forewarned, spoilers, and also for people that have heart disease, please do not watch this review. Seriously, if any of my viewers or fans have epilepsy or are prone easily to seizures, please do not watch this review because there are several moments of like flashing lights and flashing images. So for your sake and for your safety, please don't watch this video. I mean, completely. Unless you just want to listen to it as if this were a podcast, then that's fine. But I just don't want to accidentally send any of you to the hospital or anything like that. So please. But we are going to be talking about the 1992 classic Candyman, which is based upon a short story written by the great Clive Barker, who most people might remember as both the writer and director behind his short story of Hellraiser. Candyman was one of his short stories that isn't, but is a unique idea, as I'm surprised that he is not the writer behind this, but instead that he only being a executive producer. And eventually a lot of people say that this is a Clive Barker film, even though technically it's not, aside from the fact that he's an executive producer and this is based on his short story, The Forbidden. But there's several unique ideas as we taken into this perspective. So, and especially how this unique figure had rise from movie mythos and became a cult legend phenomenon. So let's give the Lazyween treatment to one of my personal favorite horror films, and probably a lot of you too as well, and really dive into Cabrini Greens and visit the man, myth, and legend. So this is the Lazyween treatment and review and retrospective of everything for the 1992 Candyman, which I have to remind people, just a reminder, there might be some spoilers in this, so if you have not seen this movie yet, please go and do so, and then come back. The first time that I've seen the 1992 film is when I actually picked up the Nia DaCosta and Jordan Peele remake, and to which I was actually surprised of how much that I actually liked the original film, which I actually watched it during October on Sci-Fi or Sci-Fi or whatever the hell that they're calling themselves now. So let's dive into Cabrini Greens and summon us some delicious candy, which yes is a controversy I have to talk about when doing that. And let's dive into the cult classic phenomenon known as the Candyman. We open the film on a massive hive of bees. Why? I don't know, because there's a point to actually why you're seeing bees right now, but explain later. We're introduced to a backstory where a young, sexy woman starts flirting with her bad boyfriend. The bad boyfriend being played by Sam Raimi's brother, Ted Raimi.
You serious? Pay for what? Standing there?
Ted Raimi is a lot of things. A gifted actor, a brilliant brother, and also the thing that he puts up with in various movies is quite well. But you want me to believe he's a bad boy. I'm sorry, but you'd really have to sell me on this because he does not really spell the epitome of cool to me. I'm sorry. I'm even surprised that he makes a cameo in this, and it's not a Sam Raimi film. Sam Raimi had nothing to do with this movie, as far as I know. So why is his brother connected to this? Who the hell knows? Maybe Ted Raimi said yes just to work with a basically attractive looking young woman. I can't really say. He's the bad boy. Okay, alright, fine. To what Ted Raimi's girlfriend tells him, if you say this guy's name in the mirror 5 times, he will actually be summoned. And nothing turns her on quite like that. This is where we are introduced to our main character, Helen Lyle, who is writing an essay and a thesis upon the Candyman stories that she has heard about just so far in her life. Helen is really obsessed with this character. She wants to know everything about him. She really wants to learn what really can break him. And the Candyman is basically could have been inspired by the gruesome ghoul himself, Beetlejuice, or even Bloody Mary. Whereas if you say the person's name enough times, they are basically summoned. So I do like that kind of concept, because the idea is that you go in front of a mirror, say his name 5 times, and then supposedly he turns up to kill you. And she's writing a college thesis, an essay on the subject. Yeah, and then no one might. Yeah, and they said that my college thesis and an essay would too extreme. Oh, let's just write about a mythological, legendary serial killer that basically shows up in the mirror to kill people. And this is why exactly I didn't go to college. These weirdos and their basically theses and essays. Helen becomes so addicted and obsessed that she actually tries out the idea herself with her friend and shows her a little hidden secret behind her mirror.
That is amazing. What? Somebody in there. I saw a light go on. There.
Helen then traveled to the local Cabrini Green Heights, where she wants to find out everything that she can upon the local Candyman stories and everything about the mythological figure. But while at a dinner, she learns everything that she can about the mythological figure. She learns the backstory behind the interesting man, myth, and legend, the Candyman.
Candyman was the son of a slave. His father had amassed a considerable fortune from designing a device for the mass.
The Candyman story was pitched by actor Tony Todd. Todd wanted to have the character basically kind of be symbolic in a way. Tony Todd went to the several crew members and told them his idea that he wanted to do for for his character that he was portraying. So he made up this backstory that the Candyman was once the son of a slave, but who had a very unique tact and talent. He could paint with quite beautiful art styles. He fell in love with this slave owner's woman, or daughter, who just so happened to have been white, which, as you know, but during these times, that was illegal. Whereas nowadays, people still bat their eye at interracial couples. Get over it, please. It's just not fucking worth it. But not only did he do that, he was chased down, stripped naked, covered with honey, and stoned to death by bees. But that wasn't enough torture for the poor man. No. With a rusty bone saw, they sawed off his hand and shoved a hook within the rotten flesh stump. So the flesh would have rotted even quicker, basically giving him various diseases. And the idea sticked. This is an origin story where the viewer can sympathize with the killer. You honestly know the reason as to why he became this legendary figure. Where, as such, he does a very wonderful job at basically capturing this character. I was actually surprised that I found a way to find out that Tony Todd actually had a hand in basically making his own character. Kudos. What Tony Todd had another hand in something, but we'll get more into that later. I just thought it was funny that this legendary actor actually made the character even more sympathetic, probably than they were expecting. So kudos to Tony for that one. But in order to meet the Candyman, Helen had to walk into a dirty men's room in order to find out where this mysterious figure is actually hiding.
Found him. Go in there.
But it's not long before Helen officially meets the man, myth, and legend himself, the actual Candyman, this time not in a public restroom.
What you done to me?
I'm sorry I have to go.
No need to leave yet. I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom.
The Candyman is one of those figures that, believably, has this very hypnotic voice that he can really control you by looking at you and saying, "Be my victim." Which, of course, people will basically fall under. Which, fun fact, the actress behind Helen, Virginia Madsen, actually was put under hypnosis by the director, who was actually a trained hypnotist. So she was actually under hypnosis during that. But Tony Todd was the perfect choice. His voice is really deep. It basically does sound in some of his roles menacing. While also common, if used perfectly, he does sound threatening and menacing. Which is of course why he was the voice of Venom in Spider-Man 2, the video game. I wonder how many people didn't believe me, quickly went to Google, researched that, and then came back. Probably a bunch of you actually thought that. Yeah. But that's okay. And to which he actually is loving receiving Venom gifts from fans. So if you ever meet Tony Todd at like Comic Con or whatever, give him something Venom wise. He'll probably really do love it. But I do like the aesthetic of Candyman, not the fact that he basically will just straight up just kill you, but within the straight up fact that he actually will hypnotize people he's worthy of being his victim and using them to basically do what he wants. And oh boy, does he get Helen to do what he wants. Oh, not sexual wise, I mean murder wise. Because he straight up had Virginia Madsen murder a Rottweiler! That's a thing that happens in this movie! And not only that, she mysteriously somehow stole a baby. And despite being out of it on the floor and covered in blood. Which of course, because of everything happening to her, she's sent to a mental asylum. Because people think that now that she's gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, it's completely not relative.
You're mine now.
Which after everything that she went through, she goes home to be with her husband, the one person that can support her and be with her and do everything that he could for her. Except her husband is cheating on her with a college student! What the actual fuck? Which Helen goes into the Candyman's lair to try to take the baby back, but it's too late because he wakes up from his nap and basically starts to hypnotize her yet again. Oh, Helen, you've had one hell of a day. You have been trying to write your college thesis. You found out your husband cheated on you. You went into an insane asylum after you killed a dog and believably stole a baby. You see the guy floating 3 inches above your face. You get to see a guy basically stab with a hook, fly out a window, escape from a mental asylum, go into your husband basically cheating on you with a college student, which... Ew! And then you finally go to the man of your dream, Tony Todd. You know, she's had one hell of a day, but yet she keeps those basically beautiful blonde flowing locks, which I have to give credit to Virginia Madsen, as it could have not been easy for her to basically portray that she's losing her mind, similar to Mark Patton in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. They do a tremendous job, specifically Virginia Madsen, as she goes from this kind-hearted, sweet, caring person into becoming a bitch towards the end of this and not giving a single crap or a fuck about anything that she does up until this point. And yeah, she actually tried to become a hero by basically trying to go save the baby. Except I think that Helen forgot that the Candyman's voice is like a hypnotic signal. Oops! Because she falls right under his control yet again while trying to be the hero. Fun fact, Tony Todd was not keen on working with bees. Well, who is actually? That he actually made and cut a deal with the director and the rest of the team. He said that every time that he gets stung, he gets $1,000. He gets $1,000 more payment into his paycheck by the end of the movie. During this scene, Tony Todd was stung a total of 27 times, and to which he had been granted $27,000 for every bee sting. By the end of the day, Tony Todd must have been sore as hell, especially with how many bees have stung him, but at the end of the day, he probably was sitting inside of a bathtub or trying to treat his wound going, I'm in the money, I'm in the money, I am sore 'cause I got stung, but I'm in the money. Yeah, even I probably would cut a deal like that if I was ever a successful actor and people wanted me to work with something that I wasn't too fond of either. I'd sit right there and say, yep, but I want an increased payment within basically working with said animal. And especially bees, which I'm not too keen of or fond of myself. Yeah, I probably would ask for $1,000 to $10,000 increase as well for every time that I was done. Tony knew what he was doing when this happened. But the reason why Tony Todd is marking Helen and mostly wants her is because she looks like his previous lover from years ago. His lover has been suddenly reincarnated. But while the sacrifice to the Candyman is being made, Helen goes inside to save the baby, and to be rid of the Candyman curse once and for all, and become herself a hero. The Candyman burns, bursting into 1,000 fireflies. I'd use an Owl City joke and reference, but I do not own an Owl City CD, so sad for me. Helen unfortunately died, but she died a hero, making her honorable for what she had done, reclaiming herself and redeeming herself as a hero to all. But her husband going through grief, he's going through guilt, he basically killed his wife. Yes, he did. So what do you think that he ends up doing as a cause of this? Well, I mean, he did cheat on his wife after all, so it does make sense that she'd come back from the dead to basically stab his ass. But what this is highlighting is that Helen had now become the new Candyman, or Candy Woman. But you can guess what probably happened to her husband and his newfound lover, or aka wife. Candyman is a great movie, specifically both versions, the 2021 version and the 1992 version. Yes indeed, I already have reviewed the 2021 version, which you can find here on the channel, which I absolutely do love and adore for how well done it was. And I'll put you back in there. There you go. But the 1992 version is wonderful. Specifically, Virginia Madsen and Tony Todd instantly steal the show. Specifically, Todd. While he's not on or in the film much, his presence is felt all throughout the film. That hypnotic voice basically even for the viewer, hypnotizes them. He's a wonderful performer. He basically is the star of the show. While Virginia Madsen, yes, is of course basically more so the star than Tony Todd, Todd is basically there from the beginning. You feel his presence. And I do love the aesthetic that Todd brought in. He wanted this film to technically be his, making the character's origin a lot, I think, different than what Clive Barker had originally done. Barker was happy with this film, and it is one of his best adaptations, and the one that he liked the best. More so than Rawhead Rex. Wonder how many people know that that's a Clive Barker short story or Clive Barker movie. Well, he's not associated with it in any way, but even he himself admitted that he hated Rawhead Rex, which is why he directed and wrote Hellraiser by himself. But would I recommend to any and all horror fans the original Candyman? I think it's obvious that yes, I do. Any and all gorehound or horror fan would tell you that this is one of the best horror movies ever made, especially since it's psychological horror, which I'm a sucker for. I love psychological horror films. So I do recommend Candyman. And for Candyman, I'm gonna have to give it a Funko Pop rating of a Green Ranger, because this film, much like my childhood hero and favorite Power Ranger, is nothing short of legendary. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me at Twitter with a link in the description down below. I'm Ray Universe. I've got new to keep you on. And please check out Candyman, both versions, the 2021 version and the 1992 version. So please do so. And also tell me what you think about this beloved film in the comment section down below. Were you a fan of it? Aren't you a fan of it? I want to hear your opinion down below. And also, if you like this channel, you can do all the things to try to support me by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell icon so you never miss a Lazyween video, all the good stuff. But until next time, guys, I believe universe, I want you to keep eking on. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, take care. And as always, stay spooky.